And so they come to Jesus, and their question is designed to try to trap the Lord Jesus Christ. They tried to get him to incriminate himself to them so that they could validate the fact that he was a blasphemer and they could execute him. They were just looking for ammunition. So they come along to Jesus. They say to him, "Hey, Rabbi, Jesus, let's see what you do with this one. What's the greatest of all commandments? We got 613 of them, and some of them are heavy and some of them are light. And watch him now, listen." They probably had a meeting before they got to him. They probably decided this is a good line of attack because they wanted to prove that in their eyes, Jesus was placing himself above the law. So what did Jesus do? Jesus did something rather remarkable. He answered them by quoting the first part of the Shema, S-H-E-M-A. We're going to be studying that. It's found in Deuteronomy chapter 6. Hear, O Israel, the Lord thy God is, how many gods? One God. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind and with all thy strength. And so Jesus' response did two things. Number one, this is important to notice, folks, as we try to understand what it means to love God completely. Jesus' response did two things. Number one, he confirmed the practice of every Jew. Can you imagine that? Why did he confirm the practice? By quoting to them the very passage from the Shema in Deuteronomy. Well, he confirmed their practice because every Jew recited the Shema twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. It was part of their ritual. It was what they did. It was associated with the law. That's why when Jesus came, he said, be very careful about vain repetition. That's why I don't get up in this pulpit and sing the doxology every week. Because we got to be careful of vain repetition. That's why we don't get up here every week and quote the Lord's Prayer and recite it from memory when it has no meaning. That's why we don't do rituals, because Jesus said, don't do these things. But he dipped into the heart of these people that he loved, and in a sense, he commended them for their pursuit after the heart of God. Now, folks, I want you to listen to this. Jesus doesn't condemn us for our pursuit after God. He commends us for our pursuit after God. He confirmed the practice of every Jew. But there was a second thing that he did. Whilst on one hand he affirmed the practice of every Jew, he affirmed God through his word. In other words, what he did was he gave back to them God's own words in the affirmation and confirmation of the very place at which they found themselves. It's an amazing story, this. So Jesus could have stood there and looked at these guys and say, you're trying to trap me, aren't you? Hey, man. What are you doing? You think I'm stupid or something? You're just a typical human being trying to trap God. Let me show you a few things. No. This Jesus looked into their hearts. He had compassion upon them. And he quoted the Shema, Hear, O Israel. And in so doing, he confirmed the practice of every one of those Jews who were asking that question, albeit their motive was wrong. But most importantly, he affirmed God's own words. He quoted back to them the very same God they were quoting to God every morning and every evening. Now, why did Jesus do that? Because he is God.